twice about it. And specifically is in this area that's right around the California Avenue Tunnel. Do you remember, do you have the background already? I don't want to waste.
I remember you telling me about it.
Okay. So it's kind of right near the California Avenue Tunnel, where it's kind of the fulcrum of Caltrain commuters that come park in our neighborhood because of the free parking field, right? It's free parking. It's also, the spillover became much more pronounced problem once the Oregon field was established. It's 2017.
Yeah, we're the only neighborhood now surrounding California Avenue Business District that doesn't have one. So inevitably, it's now falling on us and we
It's like sausage.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, they water over. Yeah, whatever the hell you think.
Yes.
So
We are a neighborhood of very small streets, narrow streets, short blocks, small lots, one car garage, small houses. And so it's becoming very difficult.
Steve Jobs' house can only be 2 blocks away. It's a very different block.
Yes.
So anyway, so we, I just moved in last year, so I kind of was really sure what I was fine, but I didn't solve this problem. So, and people have been working on this since 2017. That's the thing about, so it's not like a new, pretty much immediately after that last RPP that probably came down, and a couple of people, Lloyd, George Herman, worked with the neighbors in the first version of the petition. Very flexible on the approach in terms of how to solve the parking intrusion problem, and taking the guidance from Josh Mello at the time, and just obviously what's that for a number of things. But we, in the end, so the last petition was in August of 2018, and that got prioritized by the PTC unanimously, and then in March, amongst a couple others, and then the city council call in March, April, let's go for it and evaluate. And so since then we've had, and you may remember we had the numbers, but it's like 92%, I think it was, or 91% support, the petition. And we had over 70% participation, like 72% of all. So more approval than any other RPP by a long shot, and more participation by a long shot. And then we had, so that was, I think, so we checked all the boxes on this process. And then we had a, staff started doing car counts and did the outreach and met with us on July 31st. And, after that kind of came up with their recommendation. Again, we didn't mandate anything in particular. In fact, we probably were open to a lot of different things, which I talked about in March. But we were happy with what they came up with, ultimately, which was a resident only. It has 5 hang tags, and so it's
Was in line
great,
with
yeah.
what they've done.
we didn't ask, to be clear, we didn't ask for 5, but we were happy. Initially, they said 2, and it was decals, and I think some people were happy with it, but it still would have passed. So they then sent out a survey with their recommendations, saying, here's what we're going to do in August. We didn't really have any notice exactly when it was going to come. It was going to August, and in 9 days, we still got just about 60% participation, which is pretty amazing for 9 days.
No,
When you don't know when it's coming exactly. And then we had a 89% favorable, so roughly the same. So we all say yes, we want this. And so, and then, so then it was going to go to the PTC, or it did go to the PTC, August 28th. And we didn't have a party that people brought, because we thought that would be a 5-minute meeting, and but be a 2-hour meeting, just on this topic. I don't know if you watched it. But it was
I realized,
yeah.
Yes.
So it was quite a surprise. Yeah, it was in the news and whatnot. And I think, specifically, Sheriff Briggs, right?
Builder.
Yeah, Billy Briggs. And then Michael Alchak indicated had some. I think most people would characterize it as, bringing up policy questions and also seeking more analytical rigor around a variety of things, and they actually ended up, and it ended up getting passed through the PTC, and the recommendation was to take council thing, but they actually voted no, so it was a 4-2 vote, and one person was recused.
Yeah, but then we had conditions.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
4-2 vote Right.
study more things.
Right, the 4-2 vote was also conditioned upon them coming back when it gets presented to council, which we will on September 23rd, as an agenda item. There were, I believe, 5 items that will be, had to be included with it, like, why are we doing 5 hang tags? I'm not going to tell you what staff told us, but that's it's consistency. Why is it? So they're doing less only because it's easier. Because this is one business that doesn't really see the
That's
yeah, it's not small.
What is the one business?
They have a medical and dental office. There was one
on the
representative.
corner of Palma
But
and
they,
North California, right opposite the pedestrian underpass.
it's literally exactly right. It's right at the corner of
I go by there all the time. I never noticed it.
Wow.
the brick building.
Pay
Yeah,
attention.
they have a parking lot.
They
The
have-
cops are usually hanging out there for
Yeah,
your
the
tickets
house, that's where
in
the
the
house.
parking lot.
Oh, how can I even call them?
Yeah.
I went bike racing in the
Yeah,
On
right
the other
there.
side of where the bike is.
On the other side of North California, from the,
That's not so
no,
Yeah, just it's very small, 2 offices. One of them was there, and they're not thrilled with the parking.
it
They were
used to
fine
be a
with it.
bit more. It's probably still zoned, commercial with that first block of 5 o'clock. Because that used to be businesses too. And I know that when we bought our first house in that neighborhood, Emerson, North California, I checked on the zoning, and that was residential again, just because the first house.
Yeah.
I'm the neighborhood, one of the neighborhood historians, having been almost 50 years.
She's a wealth. So there's also 50 spots that are right by the park. Those are not going to be part of the RPP, so
Yeah.
they stay open. So that's kind of space for whoever is out or employees or whatever. Oh, hey, Kurt.
Hey.
Oh, perfect.
Right.
Okay, this is, I'm sorry, these are a couple of.
Hi, Chris.
Lori, nice to see you. Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Oh, this is perfect. Okay. So, yeah, so you guys, that's great. And you guys know Barbara, right? So she's the main-
Yeah.
Hi, yes, Lori Winkler.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Sorry, yeah.
So, and, yeah, so they live on. actually,
Emerson.
Emerson as well.
Yes.
And, Greg's one of the council members.
Great.
I went through the whole saga a little bit here.
We checked his box.
Yes.
Check what?
We checked his box.
We checked all these boxes.
Oh,
We
yeah.
voted for him.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
very impressed with it.
Excellent. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you could just go watch it. Yeah, so, we were kind of just, at the end explaining the whole saga about,
Indeed.
the process and the PPC meeting and, we were overall happy with the staff recommendation. And it is going to council with 5, additional pieces of information just for council to consider, but it is going forward. We expect it to pass as is, but that's what we want to just try to make sure we have context for it. So they ask things like, what's the impact of the parking garage? What's the, what other options are there besides an RPP, right? That, which of course, if you ask that of every RPP. What's the Wi-Fi hang tags? I don't think people just, people are not going to buy 5 hang tags, just like you on stairs, they should buy, you can buy whatever.
We're out that kind of a neighborhood. We have
They're on 3 or
Per house.
That's what staff came up with. So there's consistency. And then another question was,
Oh,
what's the goal? Yeah, what does success look like? So it's the 1-year pilot. How do we know at the end whether any changes or
that's the one question that I think is potentially, of interest or legitimate. The question I'd like to know the answer to as well.
I don't know
The
what.
other things I'm not, worried about, I know we didn't ask for it, was because, and so on. But this one is an interesting question.
Well, in a relevant point of view, is the rest of the neighborhood, or the next wave over of neighborhood was
Right.
between 0 and 49%.
Right.
So you would say, well, you would like it to be like the rest of the neighborhood. So it would be under 50%. Would be a reasonable metric, to shoot for, to say, well, that's consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. Therefore, we got to achieve our goal.
Which part of it was
It's starting at Ramona and further eastward.
which was street?
Ramona and further eastward.
So there was
This
was what they
included in the
presented
pilot.
to the residents. So it's kind of the occupancy study. And again, some people like more houses.
And we,
But it shows you the 70. These are pretty much so high. This is a tunnel, right? Here, right?
Those
Yeah.
are-
right,
Next to the Killen Ranch is right
Right
there,
over there.
right there.
So these are all these streets that are,
And
Nobody in
75.
and Ramona,
I mean, there's no,
well, Ramona's not 75, but it's already started to creep there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it was Bryant that was, it was.
Right, 'cause you have all these office buildings, right, that have been recently built.
They're over here, on
Yeah.
this side of the train tracks.
Right, but there are more commercial and office buildings being built, so I just see more of this kind of wave
Yeah,
potentially
It's a
happening.
long walk though.
Well, it's not a 10 minutes. More.
Well, I'm just saying that people want to, like, right here is very convenient. You start parking
Oh,
right
yeah.
there, that's, it
Well,
starts
that's,
to,
3 or 4 minutes. worth.
That's the game you're playing, right? It's just trying to make it inconvenient enough that.
This is a
you know,
good
pay for
map to look at, because you see how tiny our blocks are,
yeah.
tiny our properties are, compared to what people need to see. Most people.
Right, a lot of them are just the two homes on one block, right? And then what happens is they come and park and they're encroaching on your driveway, trying to back out, you can't get out. It's frustrating.
She said that she parks on the right side of the garage, which is near the part that gets impacted. Cars are in such a hurry, they just do the best they can, but they park and they run, and if there's not quite enough space, they encroach on the driveway.
So, the
or, or use it for, I had somebody, it was, partially parked in my driveway, it was close, it was enough to get out, it was close, and they, it was there for almost 2 weeks, and eventually I called them, and then I saw them coming back for the suitcase, they were, obviously using it as long-term parking, but I said, oh.
did,
Same.
did they actually get a ticket?
They moved, I guess the police call when you have the tag, and somebody,
Well, they don't, so the police actually don't, well, they yeah, they'll walk,
72
they'll walk the car, bring it like the morning,
Right.
and then, if the car's still there, like 3 days later, then they might totally might ticket, but yeah.
You know, some buildings.
But, I was just curious if they actually ticketed.
no, it's not a ticket, it's a warning.
But we can call anything until it's in there.
It's just, I mean, there's even one now, I just was there yesterday, this car is in there for sale, so it's a used car parking lot. I mean, it's right on, in California.
Yes.
There's like, this Jeep and something for a
Okay.
So anyway,
Actually, I noticed why, so you said this is right here on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I know I never noticed this because right next to the tunnel, almost here.
Yes,
I
you don't look back.
I don't look back, yeah, okay. So that's
Over your left shoulder is dental offices.
Yes.
all, and I think, all streets.
So, how come, like over here, these people aren't impacted? Is this
Well, they
like,
are, I mean, it's 0 to 49%, but it's not super pronounced.
that's, because I would think that, so so the College Church where I live in is where we had the first RPP in Palo Alto.
Right.
And then initially we were thinking just like the first few streets, like the back by Facebook and the Stanford. But then we found out it's like the sausage effect,
Right.
Below
Yeah.
where
Well,
these-
I would guess that you're right, Greg, and that if we get this, then these blocks in particular
you know,
will be the next complaint.
It's the next wave.
But
Yeah.
it's,
But
this
some-
is a pilot, this is a start to see what happens, right? And my understanding is that if there is an immediate crunch on these other streets, then that will be taken into consideration at the time of more permanent arrangements.
Yeah, I don't know how many spots in total, like I said, there's 50 just on this one side of High Street that are, parking, and they're open, so those spots are all filled up by people.
Is it really 50 car?
Yeah,
50 car. I didn't realize actually it's not.
Yeah, 20 of them are 2 hour.
They're parallel, not
Might have to look to the
perpendicular
right when
parking.
you compare with the tunnel.
Well, I noticed this place is always packed.
Yes.
So I noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
And I it's pretty obvious I think that culture people
Yes,
just like go
that's
there.
right.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I pay $5 a day.
Yeah, I would say $5.
Is it $5 for the parking lot?
It's got lots of space. You say the 550.
Yeah.
So there is lots of space during the day
Oh,
in that
yes.
parking lot? Okay.
Shelter parking lot.
Now, the other thing
Thirty
that I'm sure
people.
you're aware of
It's
is
the
that
third triple.
this is,
Wow.
North California's a bike lane on this side. So there's automatically no parking on this side. So this is another area that takes a huge speed because it's close. And,
And the residents have half the space to
that's right,
begin with.
that's right.
So what they did, this was at the community meeting, just to be clear. So some of the feedback, which I'm glad that they incorporated city staff, was they did include wash. They did, no, sorry, they did not include that. They did include North California. So this shows RPP eligible. So these eligible streets in general mean they're not initially part of the pilot, but at any time during the 1 year, as long as there's half of the people who are petitioned, then they can expect.
That makes sense.
Follow, which is but that one is actually this got changed and so did the one. So there's sort of they should be
I guess we don't know what the human behavior is. Do people give up at this level, or do you have to go to the next level?
Yeah.
You know, you don't know, but that's what the test. That's how we get started. We get some data on what is the actual behavior of real people.
Yeah, what's worth $5? Right? That's what they're doing. Right? They can park there.
Yeah.
And get like a close parking spot, or they can park there and not pay.
And
Right.
I'm sure their parking has always been, not always, but 50 years ago, but for the last 25 years ago, it started getting difficult, in California Avenue. And so Jane Thompson pointed out that she talked to somebody who lives in North Colorado, who drives to our neighborhood to park just to do errands over there, because it's easier,
Oh yeah, the other issue I don't know if you guys know, but the town garage.
Yes. That's right. And that was one of the issues that the city council was to do. In fact,
What was your point about the garage?
No, just that might have cost more people to want to park on this.
well, it's
No,
not insignificant.
Yeah, that was
No.
because this was there was no impact to. I have pictures that we did for the city. The city's pictures I think were done before California.
Yes, right. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
These low
And their
these
parents
parties.
were.
It was other RPPs getting expanded that forced people
Yes.
under the tunnel.
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
I see.
That was the seminal moment of.
Yeah, and even anecdotally, I will ask if I'm there and somebody drives that, parks right outside my house. Oh, hi, hey, I'm introduce myself. I'm just curious, why do you park here? Oh, it's because I'm taking Caltrain and I can no longer park on the other side. Or I work over off California Ave and there's nowhere for me to park.
There's startups over there.
Yeah,
So that makes sense. I mean, do you think there's gonna be any opposition to this?
Well, we were surprised.
We were
It was
so
funny.
the truth is right.
So
We
we
didn't
were
load
balanced
the chambers, the PTC with people because we figured it would be 500 G, and it was in the press too. It's going to sail through, and then it turned into a 2-hour discussion, largely by 2 people, but thankfully 4 people did vote yes, and it did approve. Albeit with more 5 clarification or 5 points of analysis, but honestly, the reason we're here is we just want to understand and we want to try and
Anything
keep
else
it,
you can do.
but I mean, I don't think that there should be any. It was going to be on the consent calendar, right? On the 23rd. I asked Deb to clarify it was taken off consent on the agenda, and she said when there's any it's not unanimous.
Oh.
And actually, Phil told me that. That told me there was some from the public advice, but I think all the notes were positive. Negative.
I haven't heard too much, so yeah. Did they talk about like how frequent the enforcement's going to be and how many fees they're going to be and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also.
Yeah, so, I mean, we weren't, again, of course, people would rather take, this one has us paying with the first car, so some people didn't like, there was 6 people out of whatever. There was 10% of people voted no, right, 90% voted yes, a couple people in the no camp were like, this is outrageous, we should not pay.
But one.
We should not pay for the sins of city council that did too much development, and therefore we had under park facilities, and now we have to pay
Actually, normal.
back to, so it's kind of.
back to a residential
But
neighborhood.
Right, right. But
$50.
on the other hand, half the price of my Amazon Prime membership a year, I don't know if it's worth it to you, so I mean, most people.
$50 per car. Okay.
Is that typical of other restricted?
Well, they try to make them like cost neutral, right? So,
Okay,
so it's kind of a combination of like how much enforcement they do, how much you get from the fees that you collect. From
Okay, got it.
violations.
That'll be another experimental thing for the
Yeah,
pilot.
just-
Well, the staff did say if you had more scale, it would be free of charge for the first one. That was the the metric, they said, because you're so small, we're going to turn to the first one. But presumably, if this does expand in a year, then maybe it gets enough scale where they say we'll go to the same policy as College Terrace, which is first one's free.
No, college there's no reaching for people.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot.
We pay for everyone.
The answer was this is a resident only program, just like College Terrace is resident only.
Okay.
It's modeled closely after that. And the first one in both of them have 5 name tags, and both of them have
Okay.
5 capable.
Okay.
Kind of model that.
Well, and I think we get like free. I think
Not free.
But we don't
pay.
have.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
pay
You have an
for
option.
one.
It's up to 5.
You have an option to buy
You have
up to
you have an
5.
option of buying. So it's the same as College
You
Terrace.
can buy 10, in other words.
Yeah.
So we, so that if business permits were introduced, we were very happy, even though we were originally flexible and it seems we actually like it this way, and especially see years ago gets passed or whatever, we don't keep a boundary between us. It's a very different neighborhood than the commercial district neighborhood. I'm happy that staff recommendation is to do this.
And I guess if you're the business that's run, they don't care.
There was one person that showed up at the community outreach, and they weren't thrilled about it, but they were like, well, I mean, it's not.
They do have a parking lot,
They
don't
have a
they?
parking lot, right?
Yeah.
They have a
It doesn't seem like
No.
necessary.
Yeah, it's not a high volume.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a high volume business,
So there's
right?
about 7, 8 parking spots, and this is dental office. Some locations you have.
How many?
You know,
Yes.
so
Staff was, business permit, which again, I'm very thankful they didn't introduce business parking in this, but it was kind of a, straightforward more complex to do that.
So for the 10% or so that no,
What's their answer?
and besides having to pay for the permits, what other issues did they have?
I'll tell you, 2 people told me, I talked to they said, well, I probably should say it because of the town board, but they don't fire everybody at city council and city staff is up, and it just means, yeah, they're like, why do we have, nobody should be here, it's, why are we paying for the sins of city council and city staff, it should be all residential, and you should have. But that's not productive because there is some enforcement and costs and. Okay,
well, there's a precedent.
presumably the businesses should pay for it because they're the ones parking there, but, we want
Well,
to, I'll only live in this earth another 25 years.
Well, it's like a
country, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if this will be a motivator for the businesses on California or in the area to buy permits for their employees, which A, that does it the right way. B, actually increases city revenue, right, which is a good thing, right?
Right.
So
Well, unfortunately, I don't think we make money.
Oh, is that right? Is it
I'm
neutral?
not-
Well, but the more permits you sell, it is revenue at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's
I'm sure overall you lose money,
Yeah, I think that's the issue.
right?
I think enforcement's actually part of the money, even though it may not seem like a lot.
Mhm.
Right. But yeah, we typically don't.
No, this is not a revenue.
It's not like the
It's
utility
revenue
department.
neutral, but, yeah, this is,
Not a cash cow.
No, not if you charge any kind of fees.
Right,
But this,
right.
I think this is trying to make it so that it's solving the problem.
Right.
Right.
Not
Right.
trying to make
Right.
it. Makes sense. to
Do you
me.
see any roadblocks at all or any surprises that we should be
No,
aware?
so I was the president of my neighborhood association.
Right.
So we were the first one, and we worked on it for like 5 years.
Is that
So we
right?
were the first one.
Thank you
And this
for
was
doing
like,
all
Legwork.
the.
So
oh, yeah, you are head of the University of York, weren't you?
conscious.
College Terrace, no, that's what I mean.
So
You
I
were
was,
first.
we were the first ones. And we had the business on El Camino, we had Stanford, and we had Facebook. So we had
It's like us, and we've got Alma and Oregon and the train.
yeah, so we had 3 kind of pressures, and that kind of but we also got a grant from Stanford. Stanford gave us $1,000
Right.
to start. So that's what funded it.
Uh-huh.
Was this money from Stanford, and so, but it took a long time. It took like 5 years. It took a long time, but finally
The
happened.
people like it.
That makes sense.
Well,
Stanford now.
I mean, there's somebody on the planet.
Well, I know the house is
I can't think of her name right now.
Oh, Doria.
Yeah.
Doria, she did a couple of company. So
Good.
she and I were on the association board together. We did this.
But
Yeah. So.
she was very sympathetic to us. She was one of the peacemakers.
Yeah.
There were actually 2 votes. The first vote was a 3-3 vote. And everybody, the staff, the commission, and us were kind of stunned, like, well, now what? This is kind of
Wait, what? So,
Unexpected
where did you
impact.
accuse himself?
Okay. Just for no reason. He said his name was Asher.
Oh, he just live.
He lives on Santa Rita.
Oh,
Yeah.
Somewhere in general.
Yeah, I know what house.
So there's also some confusion, just like you haven't noticed that this was a business. Some people think of Old Palo Alto as all being broad avenues and big lots. That attitude, you know.
Yeah, not college stars.
No, you
They're
understand.
not, yeah, we're more cultures.
How big are these lots?
How big?
A lot of those are 5,000 to 6,000. Some of them are smaller, substandard size lots.
My lot was the biggest lot, probably, you know, I've never seen here. No, mine's not typical, but mine is this one right here.
Mine's 30.
These are all 50 feet wide by 100
Yeah, we're
feet.
5,700.
And mine is 60 by 112.
So you're just, the largest one in town is, or area is a little larger than 6,000. The
Yes.
largest one.
Yeah.
So most of these are 5,000,
Well, a
some
lot of these are
4,000, some
smaller.
6,000.
You see, look at this whole little group in here.
Yeah, those are a lot of substandard size lots.
That's right. These
And-
are awesome.
And Ramona is a more narrow street too.
Well,
So
Ramona's
you've got,
very narrow.
yeah, so you've got two cars parked on either side. It's very difficult to get through.
Yeah.
And kids are biking,
Yeah.
kids are biking
Yeah.
through California.
These are flag lots here, so there's no.
Yeah.
That's a little bunch of the cottages, Yeah, the little
I used
Cape
to live
Cods.
in this house right here.
Does everyone have off-street parking? They all have private-
Everybody has a garage.
And now you know, I sell real estate. I can't tell you how many garages
Right.
people are using for
Cool stuff.
storage or other.
Playroom or.
Right.
And the garages are by and large only single car. because of the
Size of the houses.
lots.
They're older
And the
homes.
size. They're all,
Older homes.
mine was built in 1915, it's the oldest house, but most of them were built in 20s
Yeah.
and 30s. And cars were not, you know, one per family was luxury.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that makes sense. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss about this? 'Cause it looks pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the thing we discussed, one meeting, but not today, is the impact of so many bicyclists, kids going to,
Green.
and coming from Green.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like even today on Sunday, people biking and walking to the farms.
It's these crazy council members on skateboards.
You know, we've got a lot of activity. In fact, there was an accident near you recently, I think, between the bicycle and car on Anderson.
It's on the state farm agents.
Yeah, when the bicyclist was in.
So what do you, I guess, what's your proposal?
Well, I'm just saying that the fewer frantic people we have driving around looking for parking.
This will help, right, because
The
Yes.
better off
the
we'll be.
Caltrain timing of two of the Caltrain departures is coincides with the school traffic. So you've got frantic commuters trying to find a spot and not really paying attention and focusing on the train parking and the bicyclists and some people like me walking the dog.
None of the residents like any of us
Confluence of,
are competitive parkers.
Yeah.
No,
All the people that come from outside, it's a blood sport.
Yeah, and not only do you have Green going down North California, you have kids going to Pali, south of Oregon Expressway,
Right.
crossing Bryant, then making a left-hand turn on a California Ave. I mean, and then you've got construction workers coming. I mean, you just hope to get out of there just unscathed. And your kids, you hope get to school safely with no
So
bikes.
the kids who are on the bikes will be safer if
Yes.
there's only residential parker,
Right,
residents who are not competitive parkers. They're just, they park normal, you know, and they're not on a schedule.
Speaking of parking, so on California Avenue, some cities have started instituting protected bike lanes. Have you guys heard about that?
Well, they have it right by Green, right? Is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah. So there's that. So basically, like California Avenue is a very common bike route.
yes,
For
you're,
green, right? So one of the thoughts is, so you see how there's parking on one side of the street?
Yes.
because parking is on this
Right
side.
now, they have an unprotected bicycle lane on the California, in that area.
This side is unprotected, this side is parked.
Yeah, so one of the thoughts is to flip it, right? Flip the bike lane and the parking. So let's say right now you have the sidewalk, the parked car, the bike lane, and the car,
Right.
right? You
Right.
car. Just swap the bike lane and the car. So so that the bike lane fixes the sidewalk versus then you have a car that protects the bike lane.
So you put both the bike lane and the parking sign on the same side.
But that sounds, is it somebody opening the door and that sounds.
I mean, so the traffic's moving here. You've got parking on one side of California, and then inside of that, between the curb, is the bike lane.
Yeah.
So there, instead of right now, it's this way: parking on the north side, and no parking on the south side.
And look,
Yeah.
4 kids biking next to each other in the back. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, right. They all have to side by side, talk and text at the same time.
Right, with
Well,
their
they don't
helmet,
talk; they actually text each other.
with the little helmet unhooked, but on.
No, it's usually paying on the handlebars, right?
Right, or if it's on, it's not. Yeah, so,
I'll talk.
yeah, that would be great for a visual.
No.
The only thing I'm thinking is car doors opening up, because I've seen that a few times, people opening up some car doors and some poor biker.
So right now you have the sidewalk, right?
Okay,
And you have the sidewalk there on this side. And then there's a bike lane here, right?
Yep.
right,
Yep.
And then
Parking on
there's
this side.
parking here. And then there's
2 lanes.
the bike lane here, right?
right.
No,
No.
no, there's only bike
Only
lane
on one
on
side.
one
It's only on one
In
side.
this area, it's only on one side.
No, there's a bike lane. on this
No, there is a bike, he's right, there is bikes,
side.
yes.
There's-
Because now California Ave, when you're driving down for the car, it's very narrow.
So
But you,
there's a bike
Yeah.
lane, there's a bike lane going this way.
Yeah.
There's a bike lane going this way, right?
Both
Right.
of them are unprotected.
Yes.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're right.
Right. So this is how it is today, right? So one of the dots. So the dot is instead of like that, we go like this, where you have the sidewalk on both sides. You do the parked car here. So you still have the parked car, right?
Right.
Right.
Then you have your regular
Right.
road.
Then you have two direction.
Yeah. Then
bike
you have,
lane.
yeah. Then you have the bike lane.
But it's wider because it has to be.
Yeah. So basically, we're from one side of the street to the other, right? So
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
basically, this becomes the bike lane, right? And
Two different.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So where have they done, is that the same thing that they have in your green
It's
middle
similar.
school?
It's so you have
It is.
bollards. You have bollards there, right?
Okay,
Yeah, and the idea behind this is like we're talking about like your parked car here,
right,
and then the doors open, and then people get to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Or they have to turn into the street. Now this door opens to this block. It's a passenger. So it's
yeah, it's less common.
less common. So if you have it here, you won't get a door as much. And then here also, the nice advantage is that they protect the bikers are protected
Right,
from the cars, moving cars, right?
right.
How wide did you make it though? Is it
Oh,
realistic for kids?
Oh, no.
Have two-
And then-
Two-way.
It should be the
It's the
same.
same. It's the
Well, it
same.
will
Same
prevent
width, that's right.
Yeah,
the kids from riding.
It's just
going
Not side by
Yeah.
side.
you're just moving it.
Which
Yeah.
could be a
It
good
just-
thing.
It could thing.
Yeah, so it's just trying to keep the kids kind of like safe
Right.
and
Right.
away from cars.
Now, here's another point that came up, the other day when we talked to somebody. We got the tunnel and the bikers on this side. were
And
not
cross
able to-
over.
and Now, everybody have to cross over, and they move.
Or maybe
they-
this should be on this side.
I was just gonna say that,
Yeah.
saying you do it this way and you go, here's the tunnel over here, and also,
That's right.
it's also on the south side at Green, the main passage.
Yeah, because you're saying when they take a left at High to get over
You would
to
put it on the south
they
side.
don't look.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Thanks.
know.
Yeah, so that makes more sense. Yeah.
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 So anyways, so this is just
That
so
makes a lot. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
You're
I-
jamming a lot in there, but it's
The only
great.
problem I could see is the one I just pointed out, and you pointed we could fix it by
Yeah.
switching.
The only, here's the one trade-off, is right now, people have to cooperate, but they actually have 2 bike lanes and 2 drive lanes, and the 4 of them, there's not enough width for 2 bikers and 2 bikers in a car. But you sort of give and take, right? Now, all this space is gonna be locked away, these people are, I don't know if you'll have any head-ons here or head-ons here, because
Well,
this will be quite narrow. Right now, I actually,
no same with just we seen what this today.
But that is not,
It's just moved.
but
It is
it's
narrow.
narrow, and people,
You do have to navigate.
I will steer into the oncoming lane when there's bikers because they ride so wide,
right.
and then they would be away from you. So maybe it's just okay. It's just fine. But I feel people are steering into the oncoming lane, or they're steering into the bike lane because of a truck is coming through, and you go, it's kind
But
of
do you
wide. Let
think
me
it's a
steer
little
over.
better because no one's parking on this side? Part of the reason why it's hard to navigate is because they're parking on either side. So if you see a car coming into you, you see a bike.
Only on one side of the road, or on both.
Right, but it's still,
I think it's good though. I think it's good. I would
Another
like that
benefit
to
is
discuss.
you're locking it into a fixed width.
Oh,
You're not gonna have three bicycles
No.
in tandem.
So
That's
what happens though
exactly
is the traffic for this is like going to school, coming from school.
Most
So
of the time.
basically
all one
they
way.
could it's all one way. They could ride. I mean, theoretically, someone's supposed to be each direction, but pretty much all riding.
Well, it also,
Unless you're the one person going upstream.
Well, there are some commuters going
but
the
you
opposite
know
way.
what? This would be a good, education for the cyclists about manners and,
Yeah.
you know, now they
Those fellow
they
bikers
can
in their
block the
cars.
whole street with their, and this would prevent them doing
Well,
that.
yeah, except for the one cyclist who's going the wrong direction. Right?
So if I
Right.
if I live over at Bike Green and I'm going to Caltrain on my bike, guess what? I'm going upstream against the
Yeah,
traffic.
because there are a number of bikers who are going to
But you
Caltrain
see,
or to Cali.
that's the
But that's
learning curve. that we need to
But that's
go.
and that's a smaller problem than we have today.
Right,
So I think what you're proposing improves the situation on safety for the cars, for the bikers, makes
Well,
the
and I would
parking
think
more orderly.
The police department would have good stats on how many accidents are on California Ave, because it is scary to think when those kids, especially when they're younger, take them off to green and they don't navigate.
Well, especially the middle
It's
school
fun.
mind. I was
Yeah,
driving behind a kid, driving right down the middle of his bike. I just did a little toot, 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 just let him know I'm there.
right.
And he pulls over, takes both his hands off the steering wheel. Off his, it was like, I said, what are you doing? What? The 12-year-old mind is not a rational mind.
No,
I'm
it's
bigger than
not.
you in this car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was just like,
They're
I'm
much
just trying to
better
let you know,
when
I'm here,
they're
can you
going
share
to
the road? You know,
Going to school, they're more sane in the morning. When they get out of school, they're wild, you know, with energy.
yeah.
Refresh.
Or even phone situations. Especially if you're walking down.
But actually, I like the suggestion about the fact that if you put it on this side, and it's lines to the total line. They don't have to.
yes, they don't have to make that left.
Because people are always on, if I go out to California towards Alma, there's the bikers that are on the right-hand side, and they're supposed to go all the way to that last curb cut.
Mm-hmm.
And half of them go in the first curb cut, half go in the second curb cut, so I never really know when that person is gonna cut across in front of
Oh, exactly.
The
So
nice thing about this,
This would be
the
consistent.
safety side, is it gives a sense of people that are a little hesitant to bike,
They're particular.
will buy it because they feel safer protected. It was like when I was biking and trucking, going trucking with this. I mean, it's you don't have to worry about the safety. And all of a sudden you're comfortable and you can ride 20 miles and
Well,
you're not worried about it.
that's the idea behind trying to get more protected bikers. There's a lot of people who are like the pro bikers. It
Apprehensive.
doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But the casual biker, they're intimidated, right? By
Family
Yeah,
yeah,
bikers.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so
Student bikers.
yeah, so this becomes protected in more people. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
So,
Good.
so the last thing I wanted to ask you, so my overall summary request is if you can consider, I just want to make sure you know, if this doesn't, if there's more analysis or, oh, let's tweak this or let's tweak that, it jeopardizes the November 1st implementation, which we really don't want to do. But I think we've been waiting a long time, so that's what I'm up here. But, you know, just saying like, look, you know, because it's a pilot, right? That
Well,
point is,
This pilot
it's a pilot and
has-
it can be
gives
tweaked
people
essentially if
chance
there's
to
some
tweak.
problem.
Yeah, in general, I think it's you can talk about stuff forever, but
Get started.
the pilot we should try and see what works, right? In general, right? So
That's right.
The sooner we start, the sooner we're done.
Yeah, well, we've been very pleased with that high school report.
So,
Okay.
The
thank you.
committee, I think,
Very, very nice to meet you. Thanks
Nice
for all
to
you
meet
do.
you, Greg. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chris.
I mean, the staff has been
Thank you.
very cooperative.
Yeah.
Keeping us
This one was
marching along.
Yeah.
We've been very cooperative in meeting the goals.
Good shit.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
all right.
See you.
Yeah, we're surprised that anybody gets too deep.
Oh,
Men's, men's US Open finals.
Yeah.
And,
oh yeah.
And it all's going for number 5.
I know, don't even
Or,
tell.
but number 4. Number 4.
Dennis not playing. That's that. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, okay.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Thanks, Chris.
appreciate it.